Hey, what's up, guys? Stan here. This is episode 8 of Origin Stories, and today I'm here with Te Omeka, and I'll get him to quickly introduce himself.
Kia ora whanau, my name is Te Omeka. I'm currently working for Site Host in a sales role, and I caught up with Stan just recently and heard about this thing called the Origin Story, and just thought I'd be interested in just having a chat with everyone.
Cool, awesome. All right, man. So, being Origin Story, I'd like to. We talked a little bit about your upbringing and where you came from.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to know a little bit more about that. So, like, what was life like when you were young, coming up as the youngest in your family, all your siblings, and then that space around Te Reo Māori and like how that journey came to be where it is today and where it was. So why don't we just start off, where'd you grow up? What was life like? What was family situation?
Born and raised in Warkworth. Big family, Polynesian Māori family, and two sisters are the eldest. Then I've got two older brothers, and then I've just got one younger brother. And we grew up out in the country, and I suppose it was like all big families where you got an older brother that you sort of have to live with in life and take all the things that older brothers, give you, or even older siblings, and then the way you respond with your younger brother, but also just your family's big, and so your cousins are almost like your brothers because you spend so much time around your family, your cousins. So all of that stuff was going on. The old man was working a labouring job at Ports of Auckland, and very old school. Old man came home, dinner was there. Old man sits down first at the head of the table. All of that kind of do as I say. Or as the old man's turning up, it's like, shh, don't make a noise. Old man's coming home. He's worked a double shift. Watch out, man.
Yeah.
And you knew that don't make any noise, because the times you did make noise, you paid the price, so to speak. So that was sort of the environment. But by the time we had come along, the old man had a lot more money than he had with the older brothers and sisters. They got a lot harder than we did, and we got a lot more of his time, and I was able to do a lot more extracurricular activities than the older brothers and sisters, which sort of meant that they were like, I only sort of found this as I got older, was like, you were the favourite. And I sort of was in that sense. So once again, I sort of, in my own way, had to pay the price for being the favourite. And so when I came through in my teenage years at school, I was able to play sport. I had science kits. I had my sister teaching me stuff. So I got to travel with my uncle and auntie and all that kind of stuff to America and all of that. So I was getting a lot of the good stuff, a lot of experiences, and I was pretty fortunate. And I got through school pretty okay because my father was pretty much get an education, do all that stuff. If you don't, I'm just going to put my foot where you don't want it to be. Of course, he was the voice, but there was the enforcer, which was the old lady. And, everyone thinks because the old man was the voice going, oh, I'm angry, or you need to do this because I say this, and I'm the boss. Really, the boss was the old lady. And, where the old man had to use words, she could make me do things in a look. And that was the look she trained me well over years. But the other thing that I sort of learned looking back as I was growing up with the old lady was you might call me ADD.
Yeah, okay.
Just trying to look at all the things I can do, what can I touch. And my old lady came from quite a very strict background, and she had to set up barriers around me to sort of contain me so I didn't get too lost and too out of control. And so she put these things in place, a look to make me stop doing things. I'm pretty sure she did it with all our siblings, but I just felt like I really needed these things as a kid, otherwise I could have gone a bit loose. And in terms of growing up at school, predominantly, I didn't realise how it had affected me until I'd moved on into my uni years. But it was predominantly a white school, and there were a few of us that were Polynesian, about 5 of us, I remember, off the top of my head. And I really loved school. But as you talk about te reo, I didn't realise the influence of dominant white school, what they would have on me moving forward, and sort of, things that I was potentially missing out on that I didn't actually know I was missing out on, with the language being one of them. And
interesting.
It's real strange because we all sort of went through the journey of not having the language, and now all my brothers and sisters are fluent. And I'm the only one that's not. And they keep on telling me to catch up, and I'm not catching up that quick, but I'm starting to see what they've been talking about for a while. Because if you don't know, you don't know. And so, just on that journey, bro. Just starting that journey.
Cool, man. And so, well, tell me a little bit more about that education piece. So, so you're at this predominantly white school, but how did that shape university and that whole path through, before you went into the workforce?
I suppose what it did for me was, one, I was already driven by my parents that wanted kids to succeed. So, like I said, when it came to education, have to do your homework, all that kind of stuff. And when it came to sport or doing all those extracurricular activities, I had brothers, parents driving me. But one thing I also realised is the people that I was in class with were generally motivated. Like they worked hard to get good results. And the way that they looked at how education would benefit them, they, as young males, because I was, hanging around with a lot of boys, like, I can do this, but I want to go out and play, I want to do all this fun physical stuff. But even though they wanted to do that, they were all still sort of motivated to do schoolwork, to get good grades. And I think that also drove competition within me and some of the boys, and that really helped me get through that whole competitive aspect at school. I was always competitive around who can do something the fastest, or run the fastest, or jump the highest, something real physical. To have competition around, I know this thing that you don't know. It's like, shit, now I have to know something. So that really helped in that aspect. And it wasn't until I met other people that weren't in dominant white schools that were, more Māori and more Pacific, they didn't really have those peers that were focused on those things, so to speak. So
it really helped, because I think that's one of the first things I figured out when I met you, is how your ambition and your drive, and some of the stories we talked about were quite similar in a lot of those respects. And so it's interesting to get that perspective on your upbringing. And how did that then translate to when you left school and you went into the workforce? Like, what then happened? What was that next step after formal education to the workforce?
It was real funny because at the end of school, I was going to go get into a Bachelor of Engineering at Alcorn University, and one thing I couldn't get past was having to do another bit of mathematics again. And I really couldn't let that go. And I was like, to be honest, I can do math. And it was, math and physics were the subjects I was best at. But I just didn't like them. And I was just like, this is just stupid. Why would I do this? And I just went, actually, no, I'm going to go labour for a year. And it was like, what? It's like, but you can get into uni, you can do these things. I was like, nah. And what ended up happening was I had some mates going down to Waikato Uni. And I had a girlfriend down there at the time as well. And I was going down there and getting on the piss with them. But because I was working, I had money. They had no money. I could buy the alcohol. And I was like, drinks on me. But as I was sitting there one day, one of my mates was like, dude, look, I'm doing this Bachelor of Computer Mathematical Science. You were good at math at school. You could do this. And, there's a future in computers. And, this is 2000 we're talking this talk. And I was like, it looks like there's a future in computers. So I sort of booked it, got in there, did this course. And that's when I actually met other Māoris my age, really. Because I'd always had my cousins and all that kind of stuff, but we all connected on a different level, as cousins do. But now I'm calling what they might call educated Māori, or those who wanted to be educated. And then I started realising how my upbringing had sort of set me up to be the person that I was. And it just showed me how a lot of my culture, I was blind to.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of the basic, what do I call them, values, in terms of, as a community, I work for you, you work for me, you know, I'm here to help out.
Yeah.
I know where my role is, I do this, you do that, together we make things happen.
Yeah.
I got your back, your whānau, you know, just all those things that were sort of ingrained in me, but I didn't realize that were part of my culture.
Yeah.
That's just the way my old lady and old man, you know, ran the show.
Yeah.
But then I started understanding, you know, the importance of it, and started opening my eyes up, and I was like going, cool. And so they started giving me a bit more of there's more to life than just money.
Yeah.
There's more to life than just getting a job.
Mm-hmm.
There's a spiritual thing, or this thing called the way that you feel about things, intuition, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so by the time I got into my working career, I just got a taste of this whole spiritual side of things. And, you know, there's a bit more than just the, you know, get a job, make money. There's the influence that you have on the larger community. So by that I mean the ability to impact or give something of yourself to a group of people, you know, that isn't your family.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And I was very fortunate. The first job I got, apart from the labouring job that I kept on doing while I was at uni as part-time, the first job after that was working for MaxNet. It was an ISP. And I ended up getting this job, and I'm working on the desk, on the support desk, and I'm taking calls.
Yeah.
And the school side of me has taught me that, you know, there's a certain way to behave professionally.
Yep.
But the Māori side of me also realised that I'm in a community. Yep. So this business, it's people call them staff, colleagues. I looked at it as community, and then the concept of whānau at work came to me.
Yep.
And I was like, actually, these people aren't just people that are going to help me make money and help me get to where I want to be in the world. They can be my family.
Yep.
And so I was also doubly fortunate that my boss was my older brother. And I was actually watching him operate in this space and creating whānau, like when people left the business, do a haka for them and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
And those two things, so the drive to succeed combined with the realization that we are humans, it's the reason that I have, and it's hard for me to call myself successful, but other people look at me and go, you are successful, you've done these things. So based on their perspective of calling me successful, I would owe a lot of my success to those two things that I've got. Yeah. The school and the university combining as one to go, get a move on, make some money, but do it with a bit of class. Yeah. And that's where the whole whānau thing comes in.
Yeah, cool, man. I really like that, and we talked about this when we first met, that that resonates with me a lot. I think for me, though, I moved away from New Zealand at a young age. I did the same sort of thing through school like you did, and had that, I learned my drive and passion through school and my education. I went to Australia and I built up my career there. It wasn't until the last couple of years and moving back to New Zealand that I realized what success was for me, and how why was it in all my jobs I built a family around me. I had a team that I die for, and yet my bosses and stuff are like, hey man, you've got to separate this, you're the boss, you got to tell them who they are and stuff, and it was really interesting because I didn't know why that was my natural style. But as you said, it wasn't until I moved back and started understanding, that's my culture. That's why my father brought me up, my mother brought me up. So it is a really interesting piece, and I think there's a lot of people out there who are probably in similar positions who have brought up a certain way, not understanding that the everyday way they live their life is a culture.
Yeah. Because I find it funny, and these people that you're talking about, they go, oh, I'm in this space, I can't behave like that. But when I go in this space, I can behave like that. And it's like, no, you can do it in any space you want. Yeah, but I suppose that I felt like this white collar way of doing business or traditional business, like, no, we don't allow that. You know, when really it's like they're screaming for it, because when you bring it into these spaces, they just go. And I've had this said to me, you're like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't tell me about it, man. Just do the same things. Like, enjoy the breath of fresh air. Just be you. Like, just love a little bit more. You can actually like your workmates if you want to. It is a bit of a choice, but at the same time, I get it. I get it. Not everyone's sort of built that way.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about that career. So you're working in that support space, and then tell me the next few steps. How did life go for that next sort of decade?
I was a MaxNet. I was working for ISP. I was on the support desk, and I loved that place. One, because of the culture my brother had brought, but I just loved that team because our assistant manager, and this is funny, my best friend at school. So I'm working with my older brother, my best friend at school.
Really? Yeah.
But one of the most awesome things I've ever been taught is I want problems. I want solutions, not problems.
Yeah.
And if you have a solution, your job to roll it out to the team.
Yeah. Cool.
Now, when you have a group of people that are being told this thing by the assistant manager, we all start behaving a certain way. And then they also throw out this word at us called Kaizen, the relentless pursuit for perfection. So just get better, just get better.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in the team that was indestructible. Like, I just felt like we could do anything. We could take on any support team. I just really felt like we were the best support team in the world. The year before, they proved that they won the 2 Ands Award.
Oh, cool.
The year that we were in it, I think we came second to Alcorn.
Yeah.
But we really felt bulletproof. But what that had done for me is that assistant manager, my best mate, I've never told him this, but he actually gave me a recipe to get myself promoted and excel in roles after that. And so at MaxNet, I'm loving the place. I start getting promoted and moving into roles and moving up. And then I was looking after salespeople and supporting them. Whenever they sold a deal, it was my job to put that deal together and get the right people to implement it. But I was like getting a bit frustrated because I was going, man, they could have done this better, they could have done that better. I was like, you know, then my head starts thinking, man, I even think I can do this better, you know. And then I was talking to this person that I hold dear to me, and I won't say their name, but I was like, man, I think I could do sales. And they go, no, you couldn't do sales. And I was just like, I know what I'm doing next. I'm doing sales. And it just became a switch in my mind. Like within a week, I was talking to the sales manager, and I was like going, Rod, can I be in sales? And he's going, Teo, to be honest, I need someone to hit the ground running. You know, he's going, experience in this, and I'm going, what are you talking about? I know all this stuff, you know, I'm awesome at talking to people. You know that I can sell. And at that time, I didn't realize what experience meant. And so I went and sat down with him again, and he gave me a tip. He goes, look, go away, get some runs on the ball, figure it out, come back. Then the next year, my mother passes away, so it's 2011, and she's gone, and I'm sitting there at Maxi, and I'm like, what do I do with myself? Like, they won't put me in the sales team. It's now what I want. I don't really want to leave this company because I really enjoy it. Shit, I'm going to have to leave. And I ended up sussing out another role at Icons, the internet company in New Zealand. And I was doing the same thing that I was doing there. But what I had learned from MaxNet is being the only person doing the role, you learn a lot more things than being isolated in a box. And when I interviewed for this other role, what I didn't know at that time is that I knew all the stuff. And so they ended up hiring me, and I ended up talking to my team leader, you know, a few months later. She's going, here's the one thing about the role. They said, the recruitment goes, oh no, they're already looking at someone. And so I said, oh yeah, well, I just know all the stuff. And she was like, hold up. Called them back, and she goes, they want to meet you. And then so I get in there, and then I talk about all these things I know, not knowing that I know a lot. And then eventually they give me the role. And so after a few months, they go, what was I like to interview? She goes, oh, you're quite bad at interviews, to be honest. But you just knew a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was hard to find people in the market that just knew all these different things around the stuff that we do.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man. But could I have got more pay? She goes, maybe, but you'll never know. And I was like, oh, dude, because I managed to bump them up a little bit, but then I tried to bump them up again, but then they sort of kept me where I was. But like I was like, oh, but not push too hard, you know. I don't know, I didn't know my worth at the time. So so I get into Icons, and I'm doing the same role, just supporting salespeople. And then Erica Locke gave me my first shot at sales.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, the moment that sales support showed up on my signature, I celebrated that I just got this goal that once someone, you know, dared me, said I couldn't get. I didn't even think I could get.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I didn't know what to do with myself after that. It was like quite a big thing for me. I was like, oh my God, I just done this thing.
For sure.
And so I didn't know what to do next. And that's when I was able to fall back on what my assistant manager or my best friend had taught me was, you know, solutions, not problems, the relentless pursuit for perfection. How can I just tweak and get better and better?
Yeah.
And so, first day on the phone, sales, oh, there's a call coming in.
Yeah.
Rookie mistake. I think I know everything. I think he doesn't even know what he's doing. So I do my best to tell him, oh, you got this wrong, customer. You should be doing this, thinking about this, thinking about this, thinking about that, that. Dude was completely unimpressed with, you know, the way I sound, and it's really, I'm not doing business with you. And I go, talk to me. I go, but I know these things. She goes, yep, but humans have to go on a journey.
Yeah.
And so I learnt this thing about the human psyche.
Yeah.
And then I realised, oh, the first thing I told him is, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Instantly lost them, you know. No one wants to be told they're doing it wrong, you know.
No
well,
way.
some people don't mind it, but obviously this person didn't like it.
No.
And so then my journey in sales began, and so I was sales support, sales support, account management, business development and account management. Then there was a role as channel management, and then after channel manager, I think I went back to being a business development manager because we got bought by another company.
Yeah.
And so the company went through a few changes, but during that period of time, we had different managers come through.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I love good mentors.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love good mentors, and just there are some nuggets that they gave me at the time that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
But then just later on, and this thing that I'll get back to, experience, the penny just dropped. Yeah. And it's just like going, like one of them was, dude, just get on the phones.
Yeah.
Just get on the phones. And I was like, you know, I listened to the other salespeople that are more experienced than me and go, nah, man, we don't do that in this industry.
Yeah.
And then we had this one guy turn up from advertising pretty shortly after me. Just watched him blaze up the phones. But even watching him, didn't believe it. Yeah. And then, well, later on in my career, there was a time when I had to pick up the phone. Yeah. And I just realised, you know, I started booking meetings and was able to do things on the phone. And then after a couple of months, I looked back and I just went, shit, there are all these things you can to generate leads. Yeah. But I realised in that moment, I actually don't need any of that. No. Like, hey, it'd be cool if I have it, cool, I love it, but you actually can do business with just the phone and phone numbers. Yep. And know what you're talking about, back yourself, go for it. Oh, that didn't work, why didn't it work? Okay, learn from that, go again. Yeah. And just that, once again, that relentless pursuit for perfection. And don't get me wrong, you know, days I'm good, days I'm horrible on the phone. Yeah. And days I don't even want to touch it, weeks I don't want to even touch it. I'll be honest, but in a certain position, if I was to go like that, that wasn't going to work for the business. No. And so, you know, that's just one of the examples that I had at Icons. I had a whole lot of these things, just these mentors just telling me some really amazing things that didn't drop. And just going back to what I said before around Rod and how he said, no, I need someone to hit the ground running experience.
Yeah.
About 4 years in, we get this guy.
Yeah.
He was meant to be experienced, and he was experienced in his field.
Yeah.
But what I realised is that he didn't know how to change or adapt to, one, a different product, a different market, a different level of person. So the kind of people he was talking to, he could close a deal in one call or one conversation.
Yeah.
This role, you were having to talk to this person, the influencer, this person, and then you had to sort of get them on board, and then get permission to talk to that person.
Yeah.
So it was like a game of chess.
Yeah.
And I was just like watching him just like get it wrong, and I was like, oh my God. And then we hired another person, and I was like watching them sort of do really well, but they had experience in this field. I was like going, that's what happens if you don't get the right experience. You get someone, you're paying their wage, but you got to wait 6 months before they actually wake up to what you're actually doing, and you're going, it's just a waste.
Yeah.
It's a waste.
Yeah.
Man, why would you do that? And so, I even went back and got in touch with Rod and just ended up having a meeting and just went, thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you. I get it now. I get this experience thing. And even the other mentors, like one of the most amazing salesperson that I've had the privilege of working with and had as a manager, just to watch someone like understand the market so well. He goes to us on our first day, he goes, so, look, you guys been in this for a while, and, I know when it comes to generating leads, it's like this, and then it goes like this, and then it goes like this, and just doing all these things that me and this other, the bro were going, we've been saying this for fucking years, we've been saying this for years, and he just knew it, and he goes, so this is what we're going to do. And right at the get-go, like, I'm pretty easy to get on board to an idea. But my bro had been in sales for ages, and he goes, no, man, they need to sing the right tunes and press all the right buttons, and I need to see dollar signs at the end of those buttons. And straight away he saw dollar signs. He's like, this guy's legit. And it was a pleasure just to work underneath him. I probably could have done better for him, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But it was my pleasure. And what I liked the most was, I'm having trouble at this part of cold calling.
Yeah.
And instead of like sending you down the track or going, maybe do this, he goes, cool, book a time, that's us.
Yeah.
And I watched him pick up the phone. I gave him the businesses, 100% strike rate.
Awesome.
Every phone call he picked up, he closed.
How good is that?
And I was just like, and it was like when I looked at the way that I was looking at phone calls, I was just overcomplicating it. And this is how he did it. Like, I was sitting going, because we're at this business, we need to sort of come at it from this angle, talk to that person. And he was like drumming his fingers, on the table, and I just went, no, we're making it too difficult. And the first call he picks up and goes, hi, John Plan B here. I would like to introduce our services to you. And I was like, bullshit. But in front of my own eyes.
Yeah.
Boom.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was the Icons. Icons eventually got bought by Plan B. Worked with Plan B, and Plan B, that gave me a skill set that I never had before, and that skill set was how to really plan an account.
Yeah.
So I worked under one of the most professional people at their place, and like taught me about preparation.
Yeah.
So I'd prepared, but I realised I hadn't really done preparation. I was a bit of a wing it kind of dude.
Yeah.
And she taught me how to prepare. She taught me how to think about things, how to elevate my conversation, because I could always be colloquial, and what she taught me was there's always a room for being colloquial or a bit casual.
Yep.
But what you can do is you can just get at a level first, and then you can bring it down. You don't have to jump there straight away and make that all the thing. Just read the room, once again, read the room.
Yeah.
And play to the room. And just heaps of little things, but it also, Plan B itself was a lot more professional in terms of processes, and it helped me understand more my customers and how professional that they're looking at themselves, and how how they have to navigate their own business to make outcomes.
Yeah.
And so that was awesome, but it also, I got to learn a lot around disaster recovery and security.
Yeah.
And these two industries are very compliant heavy.
Yeah.
And that again is a different conversation. And then I started having government conversations, so it helped me, just sort of go up another level in my understanding around what they're looking at and what they're talking to, and why this stuff is important.
Yeah.
And so that was bloody awesome. And then after Plan B came Focus Communications, and that for me was a step up in my career to go and try and bet with the big boys.
Yeah.
And what a choice place. I had heaps of fun at that place. Heaps of fun. The environment, the way that they operated, the people. It was really fun. Put it this way, I competed against Alcorn for a long time, but I heard about all these cool things that happened at Alcorn.
Yeah.
So Vocus are the parent company for Alcorn in such a way.
Yeah.
The first place I work is where Alcorn is based. And you just watch them having fun.
Yeah.
You're like going, I always knew you guys were having fun, but didn't know it was that much fun. Damn. And I was just like, that's cool. And the other cool thing was about it is they were based here at Takapuna.
Oh, yeah.
And how can you not look out the window to Rangitoto, the sea, every day and just sort of go, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
This is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then they go, we're moving into town. And it's like going, we're going to the new building. But then the new building's set up in all that New Jersey way, we got standing desks to go up and down, free flow, greens, plants, bean bags. And it's like, geez, I'm in the middle of the city with all this cool stuff. This is cool too. And I've got a car park.
I love it.
That was the bonus. And so Focus, that was going to be my stepping stone. I was like going, cool. Here I come. I'm finally at that place where I'm playing with the big corporates. I'm going to, do things. My career's off. I'm going to make lots of money.
Yeah.
And then I met this lovely lady, and I was looking to sell her business.
Yeah.
But then she started talking about something that was real passionate to me, and that was youth and suicide, and specifically Māori youth.
Yeah.
And at the end of the conversation, she was like, what do you think? And I was like, no, I'm having fun at Vocus.
Yeah.
But then I drove back to Vocus and I'm sitting there and I was just like, shit. Then my mind was like going, because in 2008, I said to my family, like, I'll be doing something with kids one day because I don't want kids to experience what I felt was not so good for me.
Yeah.
And how do I put myself in a position to do that? And then that was, my first year working at Maxi. And then in 2009, I wrote this email to my mates going, these are the things that I'm going to do to put myself in a position to, make lots of money, but make sure that, I'm able to help kids out.
Yeah.
And this, this lady was pretty much putting my dream on the table in front of me.
Yeah.
But I was like, all these fears started popping up, and I was like, but then you see, the internet's little, people are like, just follow your passion, punch it, do all these things, and I'm like, looking up at the sky, trying to look for a sign, like, talking to mom, talking to my wife, and like, just like going, and I just went, shit, I've got to do it.
Yeah.
I just got to do it. And I punched it.
Yep.
And I got on there, and it was an amazing opportunity. I got to do amazing things with youth. I got to learn amazing things about the well-being space, about the mental health space, neuroscience, and I was just blown away. But one of the things that I can truly say about that is that I was a bit, when I made the choice to do it, I was a bit blindsided by my need to follow the passion, and what ended up happening is I sort of like, I said I was going to be focused, but within that I lost focus.
Yeah, okay.
And to the detriment of the business, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I ended up pulling out of that role, and one I did fail the business in a sense, but I also failed myself.
Yeah.
And that was a hard one to stomach.
Yeah, man.
To swallow.
Yeah.
And what I realised was, man, I sort of entered it in the wrong way. And I could have done a lot of things better.
Yeah.
And so I ended up pulling out, and I went, I know where I thrive. And I ended up coming back into the tech space, but I was real fortunate because this time I got to do it in a way that I wanted to. Like, you do the usual, you look at Seek, you reach out to recruiters, but I hit up my networks, and I looked at companies that were doing things in the spaces where I believe that I thrive and I could do good for them. But they were also pushing the boundaries and innovating. And 3, they weren't large enough that as they innovate, they couldn't change, because I've been with other companies like, we would love to innovate, but we're pretty big. We're sort of locked in our ways. We're doing the things that we're doing. If that becomes a priority on our priority list, which is this big, because we got 750 employees or we got 95 employees or whatever it is, we'll get to it. So I, as much as I loved working for those companies, I was like, nah, that's not what I'm after. And so I reached out to the owner, Quentin Russell Sighthouse, and went, hey Quentin, I've always respected you because, one, I've been as account manager, but I've also competed against them. Yeah. Lost deals that I didn't know how I lost, and it sort of pissed me off a bit. Yeah. I'll be honest. And I'm looking at this guy, even though I'm as account manager, I'm going, what are you guys doing there? Like, what's happening underneath that hood? Because you're doing some stuff that I believe that only Amazon and Microsoft Azure could do. Yeah. And a few other, sort of niche companies. But these guys are doing them. Yeah. And just because Quentin and his brother Nathan, they've just always been real switched on when I've spoken to them. So they're both the owners. But they're real strong in their strength. Yeah. And so I put it out there. Ended up having a conversation with them, and then he goes, come and see our sales director. Sat there, met the sales director, and then they just went, yep, we'll take you on. And I was like going, oh, so I was real fortunate because as part of my conversations when I speak to people that are going to be potential customers, I can actually go my hand on heart and go, like, I believe in this company. Like, they weren't looking for a sales dude. Yeah. They didn't even need a sales dude. Yeah. But I've just seen them do things over the years. I know the two owners, and I know the way that they're pushing the buck, and I know they want to, they want to push their company in the direction that the service that they offer to their customers is so good that the customer just doesn't even have to worry about that stuff anymore. Yeah. They can get on and doing what they're doing. But here's the kicker. If they do want to do some of that stuff, or they do want to worry about it, they can just go do stuff at a click of a button. Yeah. They've made it that user-friendly, or as user-friendly as possible, that if you do want to do some things yourself, cool. You can go and do those things at a click of a button. Yeah, cool. And automation in the world of tech, the ability to do things super easy. Yeah. It matters heaps to people. And I remember you telling me when I first met you, it's like, why would you have these tasks that you do when that piece of software could do it for you, like booking stuff, And, you know, you've got people in your family that are running businesses, and you're looking at them going, why are you doing all that work when something else can do it?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in the same space, and, you know, I'm now promoting business and products that do that.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at today, man. And I'll tell you what, it's the last few years have been 2008 is when I entered the workspace, you know, really, when I say I entered it. And looking back, it's like going, a whole lot of mistakes there, a whole lot of mistakes, a whole lot of learnings that I wasn't ready to take on at the time. Yeah. But then as I've gone through my journey, it's like, oh, that's what he meant. That's what he meant. And now I'm at a point where I'm able to leverage my experience to help, to help either the business that I'm in or my team members. Like one of our team members is 25, the other one is 33, and our team leader, he's first time that he's been a sales manager, and he knows a lot. I feel like I know a lot, and as we sit there come together, it's like we can feed off each other. Yeah. Even with the 33-year-old, I can feed off him and just give him, when he asks me, like, T, what would you do here? What would you do there? Because he's really sharp. And then we've got the 25-year-old he's sharp as well. Yeah. But there's just some situations or some kind of people that he's never spoken to before. And he goes, oh, what would you do here? Or how would you write this email? Yep. And I'm able to go, oh, I just think this. And it's like, yeah, cool. Yeah. Or actually what he's doing lately is he's going, okay, I'll research, you pick up the phone and call them. And because I had a manager, show me and just go, oh, I'll do it. Yeah. I get to leverage that experience and go, that's the best thing I can do for them is just do it. Yep. And so I just pick up the phone. Cool, close it. Yesterday, there was a meeting like, oh man, we need to get this meeting with this company. I was just like, okay, what's the name? Yep. Who am I calling? Cool, pick up the phone. Didn't have a script yet. Was thinking about it as the phone call was going, and as he answered the phone, it just sort of flowed, came out, and then he's like, yeah, January the 8th. Yeah. Boom, booked it. Done. Yeah. And so I'm now getting to thrive a little bit more in terms of I'm not only like doing all right in my role and I'm going to make money. Now I'm even at that point where I can help other people out, and that's the stuff that lights my fire. I just got this thing of helping other people out. Awesome. So
No, that's awesome, man. And I actually want to press on this pursuit of excellence point, because actually throughout that whole story, I could see every time you learn something, or maybe you had a failure or someone showed you a better way, then you learned it, refined it, became perfect at it, then realized, okay, there's more to it, you failed at it, learned it, and you just had this process that you took. But I think for a lot of people, it's quite tough to hold themselves accountable to that cycle. It's pretty hard. And one of the things I always preach is to be better than yesterday. And that's one of mine. It's a similar motto. How do you hold yourself accountable to keep up that pursuit of excellence? Because it is quite draining and tough. Or do you find it energizing? What is it for you?
It wasn't great. For me, it's energizing. For me, it's screw it, I'll use the words in my head. For me, it's domination. For me, it's crushing. For me, it's just like, boom. For me, it's like, get off me. For me, it's just like, way, you don't own me. Yeah, I love it. And the reason that I sort of come at that way around it, like in a very aggressive manner, is when I was young, with my brothers and my uncles, we're just given these little competitions. Yeah. So we're going, go, so you can run on those oysters and do a lap the fastest. And so I'm learning how to be the fastest, and I'm beating my cousin in that. But then we get our Tahitian cousins that come over. And so I'm the fastest, I'm the baddest out of all the cousins in New Zealand. Yeah. My Tahitian cousin, okay, oysters, boom. They actually sprinted on the oysters. And my mind just went, oh my God, I'm a pussy. Yeah. I'm shit. I'm useless. The only way to get any lower on this earth with me to dig a hole, that's how low I am, I'm just So that's my initial thought. It always goes, fuck, I'm shit. Yeah. But then competitive me pops in.
Yeah.
So what I did is I started training how to run on oysters.
Yeah.
So the next time they came around, they were faster than me.
Yeah.
They could just run on them and sprint on them. The next Christmas holidays, my feet were so hard, smoked them.
Oh.
But it's that little competitive edge. But that edge been put on me, one by my brothers, because my brothers would go, like say we're throwing a ball, now hold it like this, it'll go faster, do it like this. It was always tweak something. My older brother and my older brother and my oldest brother, boom. But also my sister was like, why would you do it that way? This way's quicker. So they're always talking about how to do this quicker, even opening oysters.
Okay.
Now if you do it like this, you can go boom, boom, switch, boom, and you're onto the next one.
Yeah.
So it was always this element, like when you're driving a car, if you hit this corner and you just tuck this a little bit further, you can get around that corner quicker, but then you line up with that corner quicker.
Yeah.
Or to the point where the corner's so sharp, even though there's no road there, because you're going around the corner so sharp, this wheel isn't actually touching the road that much. So you can actually sort of go off the road a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, just like thinking at that level on how to dominate things.
Yeah.
Or like with games, it's like going, okay, I've got the basics of this game, but there's a strategy. So it goes, the basics is soccer, kick and pass.
Yeah.
Then comes strategy. Go down the wings, go around the outside, pass it in, then get it in. Then comes, but this is how they play.
Yeah.
So because they play that way, you respond this way. And then you've learned how they play. So it's now to go, because I know how they play, now I can read them in advance. So your way of looking at things just sort of becomes bigger and bigger as you just expose to more.
Yeah.
And so, I've just got this going on in my head. And my wife will be the first one to goes, yeah, but there are some things that you do that are just whack. And it is whack because my mind thinks, I get quicker this way. And she goes, you did all those 4 things, but I did this thing.
Yeah.
And so what that highlighted to me was, I am not so strategic around, or I cannot be so strategic around the way that I try and get better at things. I just go, I'll try this.
Yeah.
Experience, no, that was bad. Experience, no, that was bad. Experience, that was good. Where she goes, no, I think that experience is going to be bad. I think that experience is going to be bad. This one's going to be good. Now I've sort of learnt that. Yeah. So we've been together 12 years. In that time, I've been able to go, yeah, maybe not that one, maybe not that one. I'll call that one a mile away. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try those 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So she added a bit of strategy into the way that I go about trying to get better at a thing.
Yeah.
And then by the time that I got to work, just having it reinforced by someone and seeing the benefits of how it's helping me, I'm going, I'll keep this up even more.
Cool.
And by that time, now I had a word for it, Kaizen.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, everything's just Kaizen at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love that.
And then the other thing that sort of got me past that was physical training.
Yeah.
Physical training, just years and years of physical training, and in particular powerlifting, because to lift a lot of weight once, you do that wrong, you're going to hurt.
Yep.
And so you've got to, start somewhere, and everyone always makes progress early.
Yep.
And then there comes that part where people sort of stop and don't go nowhere. I just kept going, and I was like, there's got to be something here.
Yeah.
And then as I started making progress, I started figuring out, once again, becoming exposed to more things around that thing. I go, so if I do this and do this, now I've grown to here. Okay, so that was just eating. Now there's technique in the way that I breathe in by sort of expanding my lungs and make sure that my back is locked in. So you start learning what these little techniques mean. And so, cool. Now I've gone up another way. Now it's the way that I rest and all that, so you just start looking at all these different components and it just becomes endless. Yeah. And so, once again, training is just reinforcing it. It's just been, and I thought about the other day, I look at all these people trying to help you, I can help you do this, I can help you do that. I just realised I've been helping myself for 9 years and I've been doing this consistently. Shit, what does that mean? And as I thought about it more, it's like it was just fulfilling my need to get better at a thing, to compete at a thing, and to go, yeah, man, I can do that. Yeah, so it's popped up in many ways in my life, but it is a little thing that drives me.
Yeah.
One of the next things that I am focusing on is, and I don't know if I need to, but I do come at it from a very aggressive space within myself. And I was wondering, can I find a loving space? I don't know, because in the car ride just before with one of my colleagues, I just went, as soon as someone goes, and it actually has to be a special person, go, no, you probably can't do that. My mind, it just goes, you just challenged me. You just challenged me. And it could be like something real ridiculous. Like sometimes it can be something quite small, but it's just gone, challenge. Okay. Then we go back through my process going, what are the fundamentals? Cool. These are the fundamentals. What does the strategy look like? Cool. See anyone else playing this competition with me? Okay. How are they doing it? How do I read them? Okay, yeah, got that. And so, I just sort of build up from there.
It's so good, man. No, I love that. Like, for me, it's like looking in the mirror, right? Because I like all that same brothers competing throughout your life, and then like growing into your career. And I think maybe one piece that I could keep hearing there, which is for me, is that having the ability to actually self-reflect even when you win or you lose.
Yeah.
So many people I've worked with in the past, and I've tried to teach them this mantra of being better than yesterday. They have a big win, but they don't reflect on it.
Yeah.
And so they just think, oh yeah, I did the job. Yeah. Let's just keep going. But like what you just said there about, you lift a weight, oh, but okay, that was diet. So what if I do this and I do that?
Yeah.
And that's like it's so cool to hear, because I think a lot of people can learn from that even when you win, you should look and critique.
Yep.
An interesting question. Your partner, your wife, what's her family like? Is it a big family?
Yeah.
Same, lots of siblings and stuff?
Massive family.
So different upbringing? Didn't have that same competitive nature in her family?
And different ways. They're competitive in the things that they're competitive in.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's just a matter of transferring that. But once again, just like that, she has a very competitive, like, oh, well, watch this thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's got it. She's got it. Yeah.
That's like my partner too.
But like I said, she's a lot more strategic about it, whereas I'm just like, so where I'm at now is I think about it a lot more, and I go, cool, these ones. But where she'll go, I don't know which one to choose, I just go, so I've narrowed it from 10 down to 3. She'll go, I still don't know which one to choose. I'm like, I got it from 10 to 3. Any, meeny, miny, moe, boom, I'm in. And, I'll find something from this one.
Yeah.
That wasn't the one to do. Oh, shit. Number 2. Like, I ain't going to sit there and think about number 2 and 3. I've already squared it down, I've already cut it down. I'm just going to hit it.
Yeah.
And then I'll find out.
I love it. Yeah, that's so good. Okay, cool, man. So we're at Site Host. What now? What does the future look for you? What are you trying to achieve? Obviously, you've been with Site Host for a couple of years now. Is that
right? No. I've only been with Site Host for 3 months.
Oh, 3 months. Sorry. So, that's right. When we first met, you did tell me that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're looking to build in there. What sort of direction do you want your career to go? Do you want to stay in that sales path? How did you Let's talk long term.
Yeah. In terms of long term, so my plan is to re-enter youth and suicide space for 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. So, but I want to put myself in a position where I can financially give to that space. Cool. I can probably do it in 5 years.
Yeah.
But I've seen 10 years.
Yeah.
And so 10 years takes me up to 2029. Now, by 2034, I should be in a financial position where I'm able to actually impact New Zealand at a level so massive that it's actually going to change the course or the way that we do things in New Zealand. It's not going to be one of those things like, oh, they're doing this thing. It's like they're doing this thing over here, and they're getting these results. Yeah. It's like, yep, we are doing these things, but we're going to set up in such a way that it's going to keep on doing things for 100 years.
Cool.
So self-sustainable that it's going to keep on going for 100 years. Because here's one of the things that I think about, and this is just sort of what I think based on, the information that I've gathered from the world around me.
Yeah.
All these people out there doing amazing things, wanting to change the education system.
Yeah.
But the education system is pretty much built to survive, if anything, and to take it out real hard. Like, you could get Montessori and all these kind of Montessori places, but, they're for the elites. They're for people that can afford it and all that kind of stuff. Other people have thought about trying to wipe out this education system. But here's the one thing is, they can't sustain it for long enough. They just can't. It takes billions of dollars to sustain something.
Yeah.
And you actually literally, and this is just me, I actually believe that you have to sustain something for 2 generations before it'll become the way.
Yeah.
And so I just think that it takes a whole lot of money. And so I think if I, make a whole lot of money, then set it up for this thing to just go, it'll make the impact that I think, I want it to make. And that's just to get a little bit more love out into the world.
Love it.
Just a little bit, man.
Yeah.
It only takes a little bit. Like, if we're on, say, 40% now, 48%, if we just get to 51%, just that little change, 1% in that direction, I think we're good. I think we're good, and we'll move in the right direction.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely, more is good, but that's it at the end of the day. And how I plan to get there, I do have a plan. Side host will be a big part of that plan.
Yeah.
Another part of it is just realizing what I believe my power is in this moment, and taking advantage of my one thing that I think I do really well, and that's I just have this ability to pick up energy in a room. I have ability to put a smile on someone's face, sometimes just by walking in the room. They just know that I'm coming, and it's like, it makes them feel happy because I bring some warm fuzzies with me. I just think that's my thing. Like, put it this way, if you put me in a company and you go, cool, I want you to be a salesperson, and this is just what I think, and I'll back myself on.
Yep.
Even if I, got 20% of my target, I will bring more value to the company than any other salesperson, just by my ability to magnify the productivity, the happiness of the people around me, and to sit there and be just a sounding board. Because I've had people talk to me and go, oh, this is shit and this is shit. I'm like, well, yeah, it is shit when you look at it from that way. Yeah. But because I know you, and because I know the way that you think, and because I've taken the time to find those things out, I actually think that, once you think about this, and the solution that I'm giving them is specific to them. Yeah. Won't work for might not even work for them, but won't work for anyone else. Yeah. It'll work for that person. Because you're from America and you're 35 and you got this many kids and you've told me these problems and you told me that you thrive in this way and you told me all these things. I only got that information because I just love connecting with people, and people love to be connected with. It doesn't have to be by me, just by anyone. Everyone loves a genuine connection. Yeah. And I'm not there to do you over. I'm just there to understand what turns you on, because I like what turns me on. Yeah. And if I can somehow fulfill what turns you on, just at any one moment of time, it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, the year, or 10 years, but I'll come across something, I'll be like, Joseph, bro, haven't spoken in 10 years, bro. Got it. And I know that'll turn Joseph on. Yeah. Yeah. That's enough for me.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Well, man, that's been an hour, I reckon. That's gone pretty damn quick. But, mate, thank you so much. I know it's taken us a while to get this going, but it's been awesome. I'm glad that we did. When I first met you, we said this a couple of times during our lunch date, how much resonated, how similar our past has been in our journeys, but also how different they've been as well. Yeah. But I think, what I've learned from you today is a lot of affirmation of like, stay your course, stay your path, keep improving, keep being better than yesterday, Kaizen, and I love that solutions over problems. That's, if you ask any of my staff that ever worked for me, it's all like drilled into the some of them will watch this and be like, bloody Stan, solutions.
And like, it's always hard for me to give props to my mates, my bros, because we're so good at giving each other shit and sledging each other. But best manager I've ever had because of that little thing and the way that he drove it. And awesome. So if my bro ever watches this, and I'm pretty sure he won't, just because it's me. But no, thank you, bro.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Thank you to the bro.
Awesome. All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.